Today marks 1685th day of daily lessons, day reflections. And today we speak about mind and see mind as a garden. And how to create this mind, this garden, a place where is a good soil to really grow seeds. And those seeds are from new ideas, new learnings, new growth opportunities. And I think that sometimes we want to add new seeds in our brain, in our garden, but those seeds are dying immediately because in our mind is not a good environment to really plant those seeds yet. So I think that it's extremely important to really consider, okay, how to really make my mind, my head, a garden in my mind, really that soil is so good it is flourishing any seed that I put intentionally. And I was thinking, reflecting on myself. And this idea of garden came up after really reflecting on my season because I know that in life people will become successful based on three things: what they listen to, what they follow, and what they constantly thinking about. And as a garden, what you constantly thinking about. And I was reflecting about myself. And when I was in the best season of my life, when I was doing so many things, building business, and when I was creating my YouTube videos, I had so many ideas, so much I used to create about, and I used to have like 10, 20 days in advance what topics I will speak about. And it's interesting because every single day I was thinking about business and I was thinking about YouTube, I was thinking about growth. And because I was thinking constantly, I had so many ideas coming up. And then there's things happen in my life, which the things that I was started to think about. And the most things that I was thinking about was the relationships. And I was not in the right position, I was not in the right environment, and I was constantly thinking about environment and relationships. And because of that, my the things that I used to come up with degraded. After a while, I started to struggle with ideas, and I think that's again where the environment is. What is producing your in your mind, in your garden? What is produced? Because if there's nothing produced, maybe we're growing only weeds because weeds doesn't produce any fruits. So sometimes we end up able to start asking ourselves, what do I listen to? What do I follow? Who I follow? And what I'm thinking about constantly. And if those three things is not in the right place, we will produce weeds, not something that we actually want to produce. So today we'll share reflection, and I will share five things that we need to really consider how to really make sure that we provide our new ideas, new things coming up that really helps us. Because I realize that a lot of times when we learn something new, we actually look into how that new thing fits in our old structure. And we're not really able to really use that new thing in the highest possibility because we're looking into add this new thing into old structure, and that old structure might be such a wrong thing. It's almost like having getting engine part for Formula One car, for Ferrari or for a Bentley or for a new beautiful car, but you're trying to fit that new part in some very, 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 very old car. Even though that this piece of material is extremely good and it's from extremely high car, you're not able to fit in a very old structure. And I think that's exactly it with our mind. Sometimes we really go and read a book and there is some idea that is extremely good, rich in wisdom, but because we're trying to put that rich in wisdom thing idea into all structure, it doesn't fit because we need to really update our structure and our environment that we really start putting things into our mind. So let's get started. So five things that I think that it's extremely important to reflect on when they think about how to really make our mind garden a little bit more um, ready to really receive seeds and really grow and flourish them and nourish them. So number one is low ego, high curiosity. It's interesting because when we hear an idea, sometimes we can say like, "Oh, that will not gonna work." How do you know? How do you know? If someone who has credibility says that it will work, maybe go and try it. Maybe it's like, what do I need to do to make it work? That's a better question. And sometimes we say like, I already know this. And I think that I already know this, even though you know 7-80% of what you're hearing, and because you know 70% of 80%, sometimes we shut down all that 20%. On that 20% is exactly what we're missing to really make things happen. And sometimes we need to be much more open. And sometimes you say, "Oh, I know how it's supposed to be done." If you know how it's supposed to be done, why you don't get results yet? I think that's again where we need to really have a low ego and high trust and start asking questions that we can really look how we can really switch up. Because sometimes it's just small things that we need to adjust, and that small things that really opens the big doors. Number two, attention is protected. And again, our mind is an interesting thing. And there's like you can potentially grow some fruit and you can potentially grow some weeds. So attention is protected. That means that we need to protect through seeds that are growing, and of course, when it depends what kind of seeds we're growing. And I think that like scrolling, being multitasking, being disoriented, endless opinions are the weeds that we're putting in. So that means that we need to start asking, okay, what kind of seeds do we put on? And sometimes we can say, like, okay, what is weed? And that's again scrolling, then opinions, social media, Netflix. All those things potentially could be weeds in your mind. And the more you put those weeds in your mind, the harder it is to see where the true seeds lie. And it's interesting because if you really putting some good seeds and there's some weeds, it's harder to really see where it is what. Only when you really focus intently and really nourish that seed and it grows to a big tree. Now it's very easy to know that okay, this is tree and all those other weeds. You're able to pull other things out. But at the beginning of your journey, at the beginning of growing and developing yourself, it's not that easy to separate what's right, what's not right. But that's what we need to do at the beginning, really, to remove as much as it can, to subtract everything as much as it can, that we can really see what's important and what we supposed to intentionally grow at the moment. Number three, reality is accepted quickly. This is again one of the most important things regarding really growing the seed that is important. Because otherwise, if we not accept reality and we refuse feedback, we will not nourish that seed. Because nourish seed is what we need to like, have a lot of sun. We need to have water. We want to make sure that we fertilize that seed just to make sure that it grows as fast as possible. That really separates from the weeds. And when we refuse feedback, we basically refusing water and sun for that seed. And that seed, that beautiful thought, beautiful idea, that potential could stuck in that growth. It doesn't grow. And potentially that idea could die altogether and say that and at some point say, oh, it's not for me. You say it's not for me because you never had a chance even you never gave a chance that seed to grow, to develop, to improve. And that means that we need to accept our weaknesses, take full ownership, and really accept that we failed at some point. And we were not ready yet. But when you really accept those things, it's much, much easier to really move forward quickly. Number four, discomfort is normalized. Again, this we really make sure that's we filterize that seed as much as we can. It's an interesting thing because most time when you look into farmers, what how they filterize the seeds. Some places they put actually shit in the plants just to make sure because it has great filterize. So that means it stinks, it looks disgusting, but the seeds that's exactly what they need. So that means that I think that a lot of times what we need is discomfort, being able to see that it stinks. I don't like it. It's disgusting. But I need to go through that to make sure that that seed gets everything necessary to pursue great things, to develop character, to develop understanding, to reflect about myself, to build awareness. Sometimes we need to go through shit. And that's is exactly what you need to go through, just to make sure that we filterize that seed and really improve. Because sometimes we need to really feel stupid for a season of our life just to make sure that we become smart and wise. And number five, action happens before confidence. And it's interesting thing that sometimes we can really be sowers and sow and sow and sow and sow and sow and sow those seeds. But sowing seeds is like reading book. You're reading a book, you read a book, I read one book, second book, third book, fourth book, fifth book. So ideas are coming and coming and coming. There are so many ideas coming up, and at some point we need to realize that we need to really make sure that we include action. We need to include like those watering, to make sure that we weed things out. Needs to be action, right? Making sure that seed grows. Because if we actually always seeding, but we don't allow that seed to grow and really focus on intentionally on that one seed, couple seeds that really elevate and really provides some fruit. Because sometimes people ask, okay, why I don't get results? Why my actions doesn't produce fruit? Maybe you're always seeding. You plant the seed and that's it. When you plant the seed, we need to really grow that seed and really wait. Because if you plant the seed, you're not able to really, one day you plant the seed, you learn, read the book, and now next day you said, okay, where is my fruit? No, that doesn't work like this. We need to plant and wait, and sometimes we need to wait for a couple seasons until that seed starts to produce some fruit. I don't know if you have been a farmer or anyone saw how really people grow apples or any other fruits. You need to wait a season until that fruit will start to grow. And the first year, most likely, will be only a couple fruit. I say, oh, I thought it will be so much fruit. And sometimes we just start with a couple fruit, and then we wait for another season, and then of course you have more and more and more. And but we need to really not give up on that plant, on that seed, on that idea that we really started. And it's extremely important to nourish our environment in our mind, just to make sure that it's constantly is good soil for all the seeds that is intentionally planted, and we are able to remove as much as we can those weeds. As I said, there are so many things that could be weeds, negativity, negative self-talk, social media, following wrong people. All those things are negative things that influences the seeds that are growing, good seeds that are growing in our mind. So how do you reflect as well? Thinking about your mind as a garden, how you say that, how do you think that is your environment in your mind to grow ideas? Because I know that sometimes when you really share amazing ideas with other people, they always want to shut them down. Oh, this feel this is risky, this is doesn't work. And this again shows that their environment in their mind is negative, is toxic for good seeds. And sometimes we need to understand that we might be that way. And we need to really remove, and it will not happen overnight, but to be able to really nourish ourselves day by day until we start to become positive environment for good seeds to come, good ideas to come. So I hope you choose to win and see you tomorrow.